Hello and welcome to the Workouts for Older Men podcast. I am Skip LaCour. I'm so glad you are joining me for today's podcast. Hey, in this podcast, I want to talk about something that is crucial for your success. If you're going to build that muscle, if you're going to lose that body fat, if you're going to become healthy and fit along the way and not be overwhelmed, confused, switching from training routine to training routine, diet to diet, overwhelmed with the whole process, so you continue doing it to actually build that muscle, lose that body fat, have that physical body, that health, energy, that long life that you want. All right, it's very important that you understand how to assess your progress. It doesn't matter if you look better than most men your age. You want to get to that next level. And it doesn't matter if you have a lot of body fat. You haven't been taking care of your body. You haven't been working out for a long time and you're in bad shape. You're doing a lot worse than maybe men your age. We all have a starting point and we all want to get to the next level. And to successfully get to that next level, we have to understand the process. We have to be able to properly assess the journey. What should happen and in what time frame, right? And how do we assess our progress, right? It's always great to have a coach. I can help you do that and help you week by week assess your progress. Make sure you're going in the right direction so you don't have to change your diet unnecessarily, change your workout unnecessarily, trying this and trying this, trial and error. And who knows, maybe you were going in the right direction, you just didn't understand. Maybe you were going in the right direction, you kind of felt you were, but you thought it should be happening faster, and then you change your routine and diet, and maybe it doesn't happen faster. So you got to be able to assess the journey along the way and know, not just because you're ambitious and you're willing to do the work, right? You have to know what will actually happen to the body and in what time frame, how these improvements, how do you know that you're on track? So you keep on doing the things that you should be doing, and then you stop doing the things, you raise your standards in the areas that you have to, and you have to know how to assess that. I could help you do that. Reach out for me if you want to go on a journey in your confusion, frustration, overwhelm, get some guidance, some accountability along the way. I'm more than happy to put you on one of several coaching journeys. I'm sure I have one for you. Reach out to me. The way to get a hold of me, I'm easy to get a hold of, is in the description of this podcast. But let's talk about, I want to give you some real information right here, right now, so you can properly assess your progress. You can have a better idea of what time frames these changes happen, right? So you know you're going in the right direction. Right? It's very important. You don't want to do everything right and change. You don't want to not have the right standards or the expectations. You don't know what to expect and when, and so you just settle. You just settle for that. Hey, it's my age. There's no way I can improve, because you don't know how this all works. Right? Assessing your progress, if you're going to put in all this work, it's very important that you know how to assess it. So let's talk about all the different ways to make sure you are indeed making the progress that you want, right? So, really, and I say this a lot, and a lot of times we as men, and it doesn't matter how old we are, sometimes even when we have health issues, the whole exercise thing and building, certainly maintaining, fighting for the muscle to keep it on, losing that body fat, really, it should be a high priority on being healthy and fit and having energy and mental acuity and sharpness, all right, so that we not only live a long, healthy life, we have a productive life as we get older, right? So it's not only living a long life, it's a productive long life. Healthy and fit longevity should be a high priority for us. But, knowing, and we're all like this, until it gets taken away or threatened or something really scares us, sometimes we take that we're going to have good health. We take that for granted. So that should always be something. Well, how do we assess that, right? I'll tell you this. if you lack energy, maybe it's your eating habits, maybe you're not working out, maybe whatever it is for you, what healthy and fit would be, that's a tough one to assess because there's something to think about. If you've had bad habits, admittedly for a long time, the changes happen so gradually. Okay, you wouldn't really know that you've dropped so much. I mean, you can theorize it, but it's going to happen gradually over time, right? You would have to have a lack of energy that comes from not taking care of your health, and then make a radical shift, and then hopefully if that shift happens and soon enough, you can actually tell. But many men just take it for granted. They can't tie it back to the poor eating or poor exercise habits, right? A lot of times too, if you just you just feel great all the time, we take that for granted too. Like that's just par for the course. We don't necessarily realize it is great eating habits and it's great working habits and doing it for a long time. So, but really, I should have no conversation, especially for we older men and older men trying to get fit, that health, longevity should be a high priority. But let's talk about what we most think about, right? As men, no matter how old we are. And that's building muscle and losing body fat. Either we want to build more muscle, lose body fat, or do both at the same time. So that's what we're going to assess. Our efforts in the gym, our disciplined eating, our lack thereof, is that helping us build muscle? Are we indeed losing body fat? Right, that's what we're trying to assess, building muscle and losing body fat. And is it happening in the time frame that it should? Should we do something different or just keep on keeping on? So how would we assess that? Well, let's talk about some of the most common ways, right? The scale. That's a very common way to measure progress, especially if you know you're overweight, right? The vast majority look at the scale. All right, if it goes down 5 pounds, then they must be doing everything right. Maybe. Right? If it goes down 10 pounds or even doing better, right? We're trying to lose weight. Is that a reliable way to assess our progress, to build muscle and lose body fat? Let me just tell you something. That can be really tricky, right? Because you can lose weight. If you're overweight, 40 pounds overweight, you can lose weight and you're assessing the scale by your weight on the scale. But I'll tell you, you might do it in a way that is too aggressive, too few calories. You're losing weight, but a lot of it, the human body, is 35% of its muscle. The muscle is 70% fluid. You can really undereat, and it's not necessarily a calorie deficit, but the fluids in your muscles, right? You can lose a lot of, and I don't mean just bad water weight, but the fluid that's in it, even when you're healthy, retain, and that can give you a big drop off, in weight. And so you might assume what you're doing is right. Just keep on doing that. If you eat too few calories, you're going to hit a wall, and it's probably a lot farther away from your goal, where you want to look, even if you reach the weight that you think you should be. All right, because of the poor habits. So sometimes getting good numbers on the scale, it might think you're doing everything right, and that'll lead you into a brick wall, right? Another thing too is that so that's losing body fat. Not you. The scale isn't serving us in the right way that we should, even though we're dropping on the scale. How about if we want to build muscle? A lot of men, they look at the scale to measure the progress, and they think that they should be building all this muscle, so with all their working out, so the weight should go up, but it may go down. So much so that they maybe stop dieting to get lean because they believe that they're losing all their muscle, where I'll tell you, they lost that weight. That was body fat. They may have lost size, but that weight was not muscle like they think. That scale is lying to them, right? So unless you understand how to read the scale, right, that's not always a good way to assess your progress. I'll tell you this, a lot of men come to me and they really don't know how many calories that they're eating, but it's far too little. All right. And when I give them a sustainable amount of food to eat, right, then they may gain 2 or 3 pounds, and that is not body fat. Right? That is not body fat. So counterintuitively, they go, well, I'm trying to build muscle, lose body, even less body fat, and now I'm eating this food. Well, of course I'm eating too much food. I gained 3 pounds. That's what you should have weighed, but you're eating too little food. That isn't working for you to build that muscle, lose that body fat, right? So if you don't know how to read the scale, you may want to change your workout routine and your diet. Again, to build muscle, lose body fat, the scale isn't always a great way to assess your progress. Certainly not in the long run. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know what that scale is. But that is a way to assess it. How about in the mirror, right? Hey, man, if you look good, you feel good. That's not subjective. That's not an opinion. It's objective, right? If you look good, you feel good. But let me ask you this question, right? How many times have you thought you're working out hard, you're paying attention to your diet, and then you look in the mirror and you just feel like $1,000,000? All right. But less than a day later, maybe 6 hours later, you see yourself in a different light. Maybe it's a window reflection, a mirror in the mall, if you go to the mall anymore, whatever it is, right? And that same mirror or the same reflection, now you don't like it. Doesn't look good in those clothes. It didn't look good without clothes, whatever, where it did just hours before. How many times does it happen to you? It's going to play a lot of mind tricks on you. So is it as objective as we think, or subjective, depending on the lighting, what we feel at the moment, how many carbs we have in our system? See, the mirror can even lie to you, certainly in the short run. All right. How about the way your clothes fit? Well, that's probably one of the better indicators. If you have certain clothes, I am definitely feeling better, especially around the waist, especially when you get on a weight training program. You'll lose inches on your waist, but your arms and your shirts will get tighter. Your upper back will get tighter. Your quads will get tighter too. That's when you're doing it in a healthy manner, right? So if you want to build muscle and lose body fat, so in the right places, your clothes are fitting looser, and then the other places, and you want to build muscle, they're bigger. So it's understanding all that with clothes, but that could be a good indicator. How about measurements? Now, I don't know too many people who really would take the time to measure week to week to week, or even month to month to month. That's not a common one. That will work, but if you have to understand, as you're getting smaller, the quality of your physique may, be improving so much. Like you're losing body fat, and you're now showing the muscle. So that measurement may be going down significantly, like on your arms. I just actually had someone on my Facebook page say, offer, my arms are 19 inches. My upper arm is 19 inches. What is yours? All right. Well, let me tell you, my arms aren't 19 inches, 5'11", 205 or so, right? Doing this for 34 years, 6-time national champion, jug-free bodybuilder, whatever, continuing to do this. My arms are 19 inches. So I took a couple clicks, to look at his page. I mean, look, I have nothing against it. Body fat, way over 30%. Right? So measurements, asking someone the measurements of a body part like arms without asking them their body fat percentage, I mean, that's maybe some muscle, but it's marbled by a lot of fat. Those inches mean nothing. So you got to understand, how to understand reading measurements. How about what you think? I think I already addressed that. What you think at the moment may change from time to time to time. And when you're doing all this work and, the emotions on something so important, it's moving around like a roller coaster, right? Your opinion will change. And that's not reliable when you got to keep on, like with most things in life, you got to come up with a plan. You got to believe in that plan, and you got to stick with that plan long enough to see the results, even when you're uncertain it'll work. All right. Same thing with losing body fat, building muscle. You can't go by what you think. How about what other people think? Well, that can be helpful. All right. But they're not going to tell you that you're looking bad, you're looking terrible. Right. They probably have no interest in taking care of their body, let alone nitpicking yours. So they'll tell you when you're looking great, but how about this? When they do tell you that you're looking great, you're going, yeah, but I want better. So it feels good at times, but to rely on what other people think, they may think you look great, but they're not going to say anything. Maybe you used to hear it 5 times a month, but now barely once. So you really can't go by what other people think, right? All those are helpful when you understand how this all works, right? You got to understand how the weight really works. Quality weight done in a sustainable manner. Does it go up or down? What's the time frame that it takes when you go on a diet? You do it in a sustainable manner. How much weight should you lose in what time frame? What if you only lose 5 pounds in 3 months and it's just all body fat? But you kind of think your expectations are you should have lost at least 15 pounds with all that work that you did. Maybe you say you'll quit. Maybe you'll change diet. Maybe you'll quit on your diet but work out harder. Maybe you change your workout routine, right? Because your expectations of how it works. Look, knowing how this all works with the weight when you're trying to build muscle, lose body fat, when you're doing it in a sustainable manner, what that actually even means. Knowing that the mirror will play tricks on you. Knowing that the clothes, that will help, but what to look for with that. And if you're feeling really loose in your clothes, you used to have an extra large and you knew you had 40 pounds and now your clothes are dripping off you and people notice, wow, you're still working out, that shirt isn't fitting you as well. You look loose in your shirt. They used to be really tight. Well, you have to know, you stripped off the body fat and you're not losing the muscle. You never had the muscle even though you were bigger. So you have to understand how your clothes fit. We talked about measurements. It's the same thing. Well, you're losing size by the measurements, but did you ever have the muscle that you think you might be losing? So measurements, right? And what do you think? The best way to go about this, right, after understanding how it works that way, is probably to take pictures, assessment pictures, every week, all right? So, and getting back to the weight thing, your weight changes not only from morning to night, but from morning to morning and morning. So if you don't weigh yourself, you're not taking advantage of that because, the whole using the scale as an assessment. And if you do it every week, I only do it once a week or once a month. Well, I better hope it catches you on a good day because if you weighed yourself every single morning, you would say you could raise 2-3 pounds, all from day to day to day. So if you worked hard all week and you do it every week and it weighed this, and then you've been dieting hard or training hard or whatever, and you want to build muscle, and the next Saturday it was down 2 pounds, which is totally normal, you would say, oh, what? What happened? I'm losing all my muscle. Better change my diet. I better eat up. I better change my training routine. Or if you dieted all week, you kind of think that you lost body fat. You did your cardio, the plan seems to be working, but you stayed the same. You might think, oh, that was a bad week and I did all the work. I must change something, right? So you got to understand that. So getting back, this is probably the best way to do it. Every single week, pick out a day. I don't care if it's Saturday, Monday, do it in the morning. Okay? Wear the same clothes. Do it in the same mirror on the same lighting. Do it yourself. Don't have somebody take these assessment pictures for you. You want to make a system where you could do it yourself from the front, from the side. You could do it from the back, selfie in the mirror, right? Use the same clothes, same mirror, same lighting, same distance. All right? And do it every single week at that same time. Now, let me tell you this. That's not the easy thing, too. All this messes with your mind, and I don't have to tell you, is even though you know you look good, but you want to make improvements, it's everybody, even guys who know they look good. When you take that picture, let me just warn you, it's going to be like a sock in the stomach. Wow, I knew I wanted to improve, but I didn't think I looked that bad. That is normal. Maybe you've already experienced that, and so you've never taken a picture again. That is normal. But you got to continue doing it every week, right? Because 6 weeks from now, you take it every week. 2 things. One, you can see the difference in 6 weeks from all your hard work. You can actually see it in the pictures. You won't see it day to day to day. You won't even see it week to week to week. But maybe 6 weeks of comparing pictures, it'll validate what you're doing is on the right track, or if you indeed need to change. So remember, every time you take a picture, it's going to let you down. It's going to be a sock in the stomach, but do it anyway. right? Here's the other thing. 6 weeks from now, you'll go back to week 1 and say, wow, I remember that felt like a sock in the stomach. I was so disappointed. But, I didn't look that bad. You'll have a different perspective. That is probably the best way to assess your progress. As you can see, all the pitfalls, and it does take time, right, over weeks. But once you get it, you'll have it forever. It's important that you understand how to properly assess it. That's probably the best way. I've told you all the upside and downside. But if you do that over 6 weeks, you'll know what you're doing. You'll have it for the rest of your life. All right. If you want the strategies, if you want some accountability, reach out to me. All right. There's no sense trying to figure out this all by yourself when you have me to help you out. All right. Hopefully these podcasts are helping out. Leave a comment in the comment section if you're benefiting. If you have any questions, if you wanted me to talk about something of interest to you that will help you out, talk about something in more depth, leave a comment in the comment section. And again, make sure you're subscribed to all of my social media platforms. Make sure you visit skiplacour.com. Visit it often. Make sure that you are signed up for my email list. Leave a like, a love, a positive comment, a share with your friends if you're getting value. And trust me, I'm pounding this out. I want to know. I want to know you're getting value. All right, so that's going to do it for this Workouts for Older Men podcast. Let's take on the day with a sense of urgency. We have to when we're a little bit older. We've got more time behind us than we do in front of us. Have a great day.